Hello, grade 9 students. In this video, we're going to start a new chapter about genetics, reproduction, and genetics. Before we start, what the meaning of reproduction? Reproduction is known to the biological process that leads to the increase in the number of individuals. So reproduction, it's a process that leads to the increase in the number of individuals in each species, and it prevents the extinction of these species. First of all, we have to identify the symbols. So this is the symbol of the male and this is the female symbol. So the male symbol from now on is going to be like this, and the female is going to be like this, while X, it means mating. So wherever we have these symbols, so we have mating between a male and a female. Okay, so reproduction is divided into sexual and asexual reproduction. So sexual reproduction, it involves the union and the union of the male and the female gametes. Union meaning that the meeting of the male and female gametes. Example about the sexual reproduction, humans and animals. Whereas we have asexual reproduction. This one does not involve the union of the male and female gametes. So example about these bacteria and some kinds of plants. So as I said, reproduction, it's the mating between male and female gametes. So it's the mating between the sperm, which is the male gamete, and the egg cell, which is the female gamete, to produce the offspring. So from now on, the word offspring, it goes for the descendants or the sons and daughters. Okay, so this is the word offspring. Where asexual, it occurs when one organism copies itself to produce the offspring. So this one, example about this bacteria, that they divide and they give the offspring. So here, fertilization is the union of the male gamete, which is the sperm, with the female gamete, which is the egg cell, to produce the zygote and the embryo later on. So here, what is fertilization? It's the union of the male and female gametes. The male is the sperm and the female is the ovum. So fertilization, the union of one sperm cell with the ovum, the egg cell, to produce the zygote. So one sperm meets with one ovum to produce the zygote. This is called fertilization. Now let's move to talk about heredity. Heredity is the transmission of the traits from the parents to their offspring. The traits, they include the hair color, the skin color, for example, the color of the eyes. These are referred to as the traits. So heredity is the transmission from the traits from the parents to their offspring, while genetics is the science that studies the heredity. It's called genetics. So here we have an animal cell, including the nucleus, the cytoplasm, and the cell membrane. So first, where is the genetic information found? How do the scientists prove the place of the genetic information? How did the scientists prove that the nucleus is the carrier of the genetic information? So they bring 3 mice, a black one, a white one, and a gray one. So what did they do? They extract the nucleus from the black. So they took the nucleus from the black. This is from the black mouse. And then they injected into a cell that's taken from the white mouse, and it was anucleated cell, meaning that they removed its nucleus, and then they injected the nucleus from the black into the cell from the white, and then they transplanted into the uterus of the gray mouse, which is the foster mother. What will be the result? What do you think? The result will be the presence of the black. So after injecting the nucleus of the cell of the black mouse into the anucleated cell. What the meaning of anucleated? Without nucleus, no nucleus of the white, and then they transplant the zygote into the gray, a black baby mouse is born. What does this indicate? This indicates that genetic information does not depend on the cytoplasm or the uterus, but it rather depends on the nucleus. From they deduce that the nucleus is the one that carries the genetic information. Call it the carrier of the genetic information, since it carries the genetic information. We have the cell, and we have inside the cell, inside the nucleus, we have something called chromosome. So what is the chromosome? Chromosome is an X-shaped structure. It looks like an X. They are found inside the nucleus, and they are responsible for carrying the genetic information. So here, structure of the chromosome. So we have the chromosome. It has the short arms. They are called the P arms, and have the long arms that are called the Q arms. And in the middle, they have the centromere. So here, the chromosome is an X-shaped structure. Every one of these is called a chromatid. So it has two sister chromatids. So the two chromatids together, they form the chromosome, and in the middle they are attached by the centromere. So chromosome is made of DNA and proteins. It's made of two identical sister chromatids. So this is a chromatid, and the second one is a chromatid. So two identical, and they are attached in the middle by the centromere. Each chromatid has a short arm and a long arm. So centromere, it's a constricted region near the center of the chromosome. It's the attachment site of the two sister chromosomes. They are attached here in the middle. It's called the centromere. So here we have the chromosome. It has the hair color gene of the first chromatid. In the second, it has the hair color gene. If you see here, they are located at the same position at the first and the second chromatid. Hair color gene is found here in green, and the hair color gene is found in the same region. The high gene and the high gene, they are found in the same region, and so on. So as you see here, the gene is a part of the chromosome, it's a portion of the chromosome, and it's responsible for the appearance of the specific trait like the skin color, the hair color, for example, the height, the level of thinking, and so on. So every gene has a specific locus. So the meaning of locus, it has a specific position of a gene on a specific chromosome. For example, the gene for the blood group is located, for example, on chromosome number 9. So it has a specific locus, a specific position. The two sister chromatids, they carry the same genes as we see before at the same loci. Loci is the plural of locus. So here, instead of writing this, they can be simplified and can be represented as one. Alleles. Allele is a version or a form of a gene. Example, we have a gene, and we have different versions. For example, the gene of the eye color. The different versions, they are called alleles. So for example, the gene of the eye color, we have the brown eye allele, we have the hazel eye allele, the green eye allele, and the blue eye allele. While the gene of the hair color, we have the brown allele, the blonde, and the red allele. So the different versions or the different models, they are said to be the alleles. So allele is a version or a form of a gene. Types of cells. So the types of cells, they are divided into either somatic cells or sex cells, also known as reproductive cells. So somatic cells, they are diploid cells, while the sex cells or the reproductive cells, they are haploid. What the meaning of diploid? They have two copies of each chromosome, while in the sex cells or reproductive cells, they have one copy of each chromosome. Number of chromosomes always it's 2n in the diploid, while in the haploid it's 1n. Also, in humans, for example, the somatic cells 2n is equal to 46. Also in human, 1n equal to 23 in the haploid. Somatic cells, they are all the body cells except the gametes, which are the sperm and the ovum. While the sex cells or reproductive cells, they are only the gametes, the sperm and the ovum. So here we have one copy of each chromosome in this figure. Here we have two copies of each chromosome. So two copies is said to be the diploid, or one copy is said to be the haploid. So number of chromosome, it's 1n equal to 4. Here, 2n, it's equal to what? You can count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.